This is no one from nowhere, and you are, and I am a spirit of God. Today, I want to talk to you about Jesus' Easter is Anunnaki, Inanna, Ishtar, descent into the underworld with Dumuzi, Enki, and Anu. First, a couple jokes. How do hot dogs say thank you? Franks a lot. And how do lambs say thank you? Thank you! Remember, God gave us our relatives, but thank God, we get to choose our friends. First off, Happy Easter. I appreciate you, I thank you, and I celebrate you. John 8:12. Jesus said to them, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Jesus is talking about one of the most greatest of all literary puns ever played on humanity. He is the Son, S-U-N, of God. The 4 books of the New Testament represent the 4 cardinal points of the 12 zodiac wheels, or constellations, i.e., 12 disciples, 12 tribes, etc. Or winter solstice, summer solstice, autumn, and spring equinox. I do have a video called Jesus is Sun in the Southern Cross, Origin of Christmas. In the summer solstice, the sun starts to die and goes towards the winter solstice. And on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of December, the sun hangs on the Southern Cross, hence the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Then on the 25th of December, the sun is reborn, i.e., hence the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. Now after the birth, the sun moves towards the vernal equinox. Equinox means equal, whereas the night and day lengths are equal. Hence the resurrection of the sun, celebrating 3 months after the death and birth of what we call Easter, or the spring equinox, when once again the forces of light defeat the forces of darkness and the days grow longer than the nights. Easter most always falls on Sunday, for the sun day, after the first full moon occurring on or after the spring vernal equinox. The Council of Nicaea in 325 AD met and was the first council of the Christian Church that established not only Jesus Christ, but also the date of Easter, but also put Jesus Christ and Easter as the official Christian resurrection holiday of Jesus Christ, canceling out pagans, as they call it, Ishtar, and Easter. Biblical proof that there was Easter before Jesus Christ. In Acts 12:4, and when he apprehended him, and he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 quarantines of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. So who was Easter originally celebrated for if it was not Jesus Christ? You know I love this part. All roads lead to the Anunnaki creator gods. The original was Inanna, Ishtar, and other names for her include Wonder Woman, Hathor, Isis, Aphrodite, Venus, the biblical Ashtoreth and Esther, Mother Mary, and also Mary Magdalene, whom Jesus loved so much. But this Jesus was Dumuzi, Adonis, and Tammuz, and their story is Inanna's descent into the underworld. Biblical proof found in Mark 16:9. Now after Jesus rose from the dead early on Sunday morning, or on the first day of the week, the first person who saw him was Mary Magdalene, whom he cast out 7 demons. The 7 demons is a group of demons who are the offspring of King Anu from the heavens, or Nibiru, and Ki, who act as assistants to Ereshkigal and Nergal, the gods of the underworld. They are represented as 7 dots and are represented as the Pleiades. According to the Woman's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets, thus it seems that Mary, the whore, was only another form of Mary, the virgin, otherwise the triple goddess, Mary, Inanna, Ishtar, the great whore of Babylon, who was worshipped along with her Savior, Son, in the Jerusalem temple. The Gospel of Mary said all 3 Marys were the same. The 7 devils exorcised from Mary Magdalene seem to have been the same Maskim, or the Anunnaki, Sumerian, Akkadian spirits of the 7 nether spheres, born of the goddess Inanna, Ishtar, Mary. These were also the 7 gates to the underworld, to the realm of Ereshkigal and Nergal. So what does the descent of Inanna, the Sumerian legend of Dumuzi Tammuz, Jesus Christ, and the vernal spring Easter equinox all have in common? Enki's youngest son, Dumuzi, later known as Tammuz, is and was the god of shepherds, as Jesus was, and is the primary consort of Inanna Ishtar. In addition to being the god of shepherds, he was also an agricultural god associated with the growth of plants in the springtime when the land was fertile and abundant, i.e. the spring equinox or Easter, and then later he would die. And after his death, Ishtar, out of grief, followed him to the underworld. In the underworld, Ishtar passed through 7 gates, and through the 7 Sabeti demons of each gate, she was stripped of her worldly clothes, and Inanna enters into the throne room of Ereshkigal, her own sister, by the way, naked and bowed low, and begins walking towards the throne. When, quote, the Anunnaki judges of the underworld surround her, they pass judgment on her. Then Ereshkigal fastened on Inanna the eye of death. She spoke the words of wrath. She uttered against her the cry of guilt. She struck her. Inanna was turned into a corpse, a piece of rotting meat, and was hung, just like Jesus, from a hook on the wall after 3 days and 3 nights, similar to Jesus Christ, waiting for her mistress. She asks Enki for help, and 2 demons bring her to earth. Enki's demons sprinkle the food and water of life on her, and she rises from the dead. While she was in the underworld, the crops stopped growing. The whole earth lost its fertility. Both Inanna and Dumuzi were resurrected and given the powers to return to earth as the light of the sun for 6 months and yield the crops, and were used to fertilize the lands. This would be the spring equinox, or Easter, or the vernal equinox. In this story, she had replaced herself with Dumuzi in hell. So after those 6 months were up for Dumuzi Tammuz, then in the autumn equinox, or in September, Dumuzi Tammuz returns to the 7 gates of hell to face the 7 demons of the dead, and remain there for another 6 months. Then again his wife Mary Magdalene Ishtar Inanna follows him to the underworld, which in turn leads to Enki to save them again, and again, and again, and again, and again. This is a cycle of life called the movement of the sun. Dumuzi's sister, Gwestiana, stays in the underworld for the other 6 months, thus resulting in the season. Hence the first archetype of the rising and dying god. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar. Easter is even pronounced like Ishtar Easter. She is the goddess of war, love, sex, and fertility. Her cult used to paint eggs and bunnies and are a sign of fertility. Her plant is Venus. Her symbol is the lion and the 8 and 6-pointed stars. She is the personification of Venus, the bright morning and evening star. 2 Peter 1:19. And we have something more. Sure, the prophetic word to which you will do well to pay attention, as to a lamp shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, victims were told the harlot who anointed you with fragrant oils. Temple women of Jerusalem raised the same for her consort Dumuzi, Tammuz, in Ezekiel 8:14, whom Jesus Christ was identified as. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Jesus himself said Mary Magdalene anointed him for burial, pouring expensive perfume on his head in the time honored as the sacred king's crowning. In Matthew 26:10-12, aware of this, Jesus said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for death and burial." Also Psalm 111:13-3. No matter who you are, from the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord is to be praised. Because you are, and I am, a spirit of God. Happy Anunnaki, Ishtar Easter. Peace and love to you.